Over the past couple of years, GTA Online's content has seen a lot of changes towards being able to be done completely solo, which is in many cases a good thing as it allows more people to enjoy the game at their own pace, without having to deal with Timmy No Thumbs dying in the same way 25 times in a row. But I feel that all this solo content is seriously harming how interesting GTA Online's content can be, and maybe even GTA 6 Online if they were to go down the exact same route. The Clockabell Farm Raid made some very cool innovations to the heisting formula, which I've touched on in a different video already, so I won't get into it again. But there is an underlying feeling that is kind of starting to creep up. How much better could the Clockabell Farm Raid have been if it was an experience for at least 2 players instead of being able to do it solo? One of the best examples of how great playing content with 2 more players is the original heist. Take the Humane Labs for example. You have one ground team while the air team is defending you from above. Every person in the team has their own unique role, allowing you to feel like you're truly working together and working towards a common goal. The Prison Break is probably an even better example of this, as you have one prison guard, one prisoner, a buzzard pilot, and also the poor bastard that has to fly in circles in the Vellum until it's their time to shine and actually do what they're there for. Since then, the Doomsday Heist has done similar things, but on a smaller scale with 2 players in mind, and it still worked great. Think rescue ULP, escort ULP, and take out ULP on a date. Wait, no, not that one. It's content like this that feels a lot more engaging than the solo content of the game that generally follows the same fetch quests like missions. It's a limitation that Rockstar has kind of backed themselves into a corner with. The player base will immediately discard any piece of content that is not doable solo, thus not allowing Rockstar to really try to evolve the content or make it more interesting. It's a given that if content was set to at least 2 players, Rockstar would have a lot more freedom and a lot more opportunity to make more interesting content too, like Doomsday, like the original heist, like many other examples in the game. It's sadly ruining the potential that the game has, and I really hope that Rockstar will have more interesting bits of content like heist and more quote-unquote endgame type of activities to be done at least with 2 players in GTA 6's multiplayer. Contact missions being able to be done solo should continue to happen, but having a set of dedicated co-op missions in there too with appropriate rewards for doing so will not only mix up the game in a positive way, it will also encourage players to explore something new, or maybe be able to finally pass Prison Break after 9 years. I want to stress that I'm not looking for the game to go completely back to its roots of having at least needing 2 players or more than that. What I'm saying is that I'd like to have a distinct piece of solo content that is relatively simple, more geared towards casual and newer players, and also stuff that is more exciting and more intense, like for example the original heist and Doomsday, that kind of requires you to have more players and allows stuff like that to be way more interesting. But there is a main reason why the solo content is a big must for most people. First and foremost, it's the matchmaking. Have you ever tried to host a heist? Well, too bad. The likelihood of you getting a full lobby isn't very high, and when you do get 3 others to join you, it's a roll of the dice whether or not you want to uninstall the game 15 minutes later. The matchmaking is a nightmare in many scenarios, and I've touched on this before, and even why it's so broken, check out the video on that right here. 2. There's no reason to even bother to attempt to invite people because content isn't difficult enough to be done in a co-op setting, and seemingly it's just based about being played in solo anyway, so it's even easier when it's done with more players. Most of the time, people might as well just try to struggle with themselves for a little while rather than having to deal with other people dying. 3. The rewards. There's no incentive for anyone to even bother to play with others because you don't get paid more, there's no rewards for bothering with others, nor do people want to play with randoms that will just likely ruin their experience in one way or another, whether it's through trolling or through sheer incompetence, at least in their minds. It's a sad reality of modern GTA Online where Rockstar is just simply designing DLCs and content for the game to be done solo and is limiting themselves by doing so. Enemy density and intensity is practically non-existent, the content is often a cakewalk, and most of the time missions feel very similar to one another because everything has to be able to be done solo. Obviously the game being easier and like quote unquote a cakewalk for me is because of the fact that I've played this game for probably quite a long long time, and this experience might differ to other people. And in order to really challenge someone like myself or someone with similar type of hours or experience as me, Rockstar would have to probably result into turning on the rapid fire aimbots and then calling it a day, which is going to end up feeling extremely cheap and just really unsatisfying to play. So trying to, I guess, balance difficulty around more veteran players is probably going to be proven to be very difficult. The change to solo content has been a gradual one, and I've done a video on that before, so check that out if you haven't yet. Doomsday is often seen as too difficult, and with the before mentioned issues, I don't think that the player base will ever change their mind about what they want out of the game, which is understandable. It's just a really big shame that a lot of content could have been so much more exciting if it were just to be able to be played with one more player. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and become a member like Chloe, GTA Plus, Notorious Jam, Dan, and the Crystal Onyx. And I'll see you all later.